This video is about finding the domain and range of rational functions. The domain is the set of all values for which the function is defined, and the range is the set of all values that the function takes. The domain of a rational function consists of all x's, all real numbers, except those for which the denominator is 0, because it is really silly to divide something by 0. To find these x values, we equate the denominator to 0 and solve for x. One way of finding the range of a rational function is by finding the domain of the inverse function. Another way is to sketch the graph and identify the range. We'll look at both methods. Let's start with the domain. To find the excluded value in the domain of the function, we equate the denominator to 0 and solve for x. X plus 3 is 0. Then we find that x is negative 3, which means that the domain of the function is all real numbers except negative 3, because when x is negative 3, the denominator is 0. We can write it like this. Domain is the set of all x's that are a member of the real numbers such that x is unequal to negative 3. The range of the function is the same as the domain of the inverse function. So, to find the range, we define the inverse of the function. I start by writing this as y equals 1 over x plus 3 minus 5. And then I interchange the x and y and solve for y. Then I get x equals 1 over y plus 3 minus 5. I start by moving negative 5. X plus 5 is 1 over y plus 3. Then I multiply by y plus 3, y plus 3, and I get x plus 5 times y plus 3 equals 1. Yes, then I divide by x plus 5. And get y plus 3 equals 1 over x plus 5. And finally, y equals 1 over x plus 5 minus 3. So the inverse function can be written like this. F is 1 over x plus 5 minus 3. Then we equate the denominator to 0 and solve it for x. X plus 5 equals 0 gives us x equals negative 5. So the domain of the inverse function is all real numbers except negative 5. Therefore, we know that the range of the given function is the set of real numbers except -5. So the range is the set of all y's that are a member of the real numbers such that y is unequal to -5. We can also find the range by inspecting the graph of the function. Here we can see that the graph is getting closer and closer to -3. And here we can see that it is getting closer to -5. And if I draw these lines, x equals -3 and y equals -5, you can see it even clearer.